Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play Underrail. In the last episode, we got our noggins caved in a few times by sledgehammer dudes over in the Ironhead base. But we finally managed to defeat the berserkers, hammerers, and Baylor. Oh my goodness, what a fun series of battles that was over there. I think we died twice? Or was it 3 times we failed over there in the last episode? My goodness, I did not think I was going to die so often in this final Let's Play. But it's been great to see that I am. It humbles me a bit and makes me realize I have to do this a little bit better. Thankfully, hard mode is hard, and I love it. Oh my goodness. Right, in any case, we were victorious, and we've leveled up. I didn't do level up on screen. I figured we'd do that together. And I talk a little bit about feats with you guys, and then we'll choose one. I've already made up my mind what we're probably going to be picking. And it's going to be weaponsmith. We'll talk about it when we get there. Alright, so on that note, I'm a professional. One second. Alright, there we go. Let's make sure the phone is not making sounds. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at our character. And I will try to remember to put a timestamp here. I'm probably going to forget. So you guys can skip this in case you just want to see what it's like at the end of the leveling up where we begin playing the game. This is going to take about 10 minutes or so to cover some of the feats you guys were suggesting. And we'll take a look at them together and we'll talk about them a bit. Let's go ahead and get started. So, we've leveled up. We're now level 18. We do not get a stat point. We gotta wait till level 20 to do that. So our stats remain, as you can see, over there. Nothing min-maxed. And our skills, 5 points in melee, 5 points in evasion. Dodge will remain at 90, I think, for the rest of the game. We're gonna be relying on uncanny dodge to keep me out of melee trouble if it manages to reach me. Lockpick and pickpocketing stay where they are at the moment. We will continue to improve mechanics just a tad more. We want metathermics improved a bit. And then, the rest of these go into tailoring. We're going to try to rapidly improve this so we can make some armor for ourselves later. We may... I mentioned how we're not going to do the DLCs until later. But we may dip into the Black Sea in order to try to purchase some greater siphoner leather armor. Leather. So we can make some decent armor for us in the future. And now for feats. Alright, so let me see if I can remember what you guys had suggested, and we'll talk about it for a bit, and why in the end I decided, like, oh, I don't know about this one, or I'm not sure about this one. Let's go ahead and give a talk. So first off, thank you guys for making some suggestions. It was fun to read what you guys would like me to take, or some ideas you guys have, and I always find it interesting to think about how other people think about creating their characters and going through the game. It's one of the reasons why I love watching people play games as I'm playing through the same game, so I can see if my builds could use a little bit of tweaking, or if there's something I've forgotten to do or utilize in combat and so on. Hopefully I've helped some of you guys out in that regard too. In any case, the first feat I think we'll talk about is expertise. Your non-critical crossbow, melee, and bullet-based firearm attacks deal additional mechanical damage equal to your level, up to a maximum of 20 bonus damage. So basically, at level 1, you do 1 more point of damage with any weapon that qualifies for expertise, and that isn't a critical hit. At level 20, or 25, level 30, you're doing 20 bonus damage with these things. Expertise is a feat I tend to take on characters who are using light weaponry that fires very quickly, like a 5mm machine gun or daggers, because that damage stacks up very quickly, especially with all those multiple attacks. With a spear, we're getting 2 attacks, maybe 3, around. Or more, with temporal contraction and adrenaline shots, for example. But generally, I tend not to take expertise on weapons that require over 15 or so action points to fire them. And our spears are going to be 18 or so to swing. I can't remember what I know they've reduced the cost, I think, of the super steel spear swingings, but I don't remember off the top of my head. So I will pass on expertise at this moment. We will have an opportunity to look at feats one more time to make a tweak to the build right when we hit level 24, since I'm not positive I want the feat I have there quite yet. If we ended up using a dagger more often on our character, I would pick expertise. And we could still do that. Nothing is locking us into using spears at the moment. We don't have any spear feats like Impale or anything of that sort. Which I forgot about, by the way. I forgot Impale even exists. I think that's an automatic critical hit, but that wouldn't help us here in Foundry against the Bladelings. I'm going on a tangent. So we'll pass on expertise at this moment. If we were using daggers as our primary weapon, we would use this. But our dagger our kukri is being used when we have a few extra action points left over and I can't swing a spear. So I don't think we'll benefit from this bonus damage as much as I would like, since we're not swinging the weapon as often as I want to. We had Recklessness, which was suggested, if I recall correctly. Increases your chance to critically hit with weapons and unarmed attacks by 7%, but also increases your chance to get critically hit by weapon and unarmed attacks and psi abilities by 3%. So there's an argument to be made that we're dead anyway if anything manages to hit us. The sledgehammer guys, for example, we're doomed. One of them reaches me and hits and swings and gets a swing, and I wasn't prepared for that. Pummel's odds are that's going to hit us, and then we lose whatever dodge we had left, and then the next hit tends to stun us with that 10% stun chance. Screw you, RNG for Underrail, and then we're just dead. So there's some argument to be made that it doesn't matter if we take an increased critical hit chance from enemies, because we're dead anyway if they manage to get a hit on us. But on the off chance we don't, I tend to avoid Recklessness because of that increased critical hit chance. Now, we did take Paranoia, which means that we are reducing the chance we get critically hit by 3%, which technically counters this. But Recklessness also does not improve our damage with our psionic abilities. It'll be just our spears and daggers and what have you. Now, that said, it's a decent feat. And as you can see, when we do critically hit with a spear, we do incredible amounts of damage. And this is not the best spear we're using. We're using just an okay spear. So an extra 7% chance to hit would give us 14% with our current spear. Wouldn't help us against the Bladelings once again. They are immune to critical hits. But, in other words, you cannot critically hit them. But still, it's a decent feat. Unfortunately, it also lets us get critically hit by psi abilities that does not affect our psi abilities. Now, that's not too bad, because weaponsmith doesn't affect our psi abilities either. It's not a bad feat, to be perfectly honest, now that I'm staring at it and now that I'm thinking about it with you guys. I do tend to prefer, if I'm going to be using weapons, and by the way, this is all weapons. This is not just normally for weaponsmith, it's non-fist weapons. But I do tend to prefer not having the increased crit chance and losing 2% chance to crit with weaponsmith. I am almost always crafting weapons on characters who are using melee weapons. Spears, sledgehammers, daggers, because crafting is incredible. And the extra 5% is really nice for weaponsmith. I think because of how fragile we are, and because a critical hit can just insta-give us, as we saw, I will pass on this as well, for fear of that increased chance to be critically hit by psi abilities, in particular by 3%. We could take a specialization into Paranoia after all, and drop the chance to be critically hit, though. So maybe we'll look at this again in the future. But I think I have already made up my mind what we're taking at level 24 also. Not a terrible feat, but one I don't think I've ever taken on a character. Good Alpha Strike ability feat, though, for Recklessness. Weaponsmith, probably what we're taking here. Non-fist melee weapons that you craft have a 5% higher critical hit chance. It's not bad. It doesn't affect our current spear. The current spear was already crafted, but this would be nice. And once again, as you've seen, when we critically hit, that does good damage. 170 a few times we got that, or even higher. So that would be really nice. I think someone mentioned Fend. Grants you an ability to immediately gain Spear Guard that can block 150% more damage than normal for 60% of the action point cost of a regular attack. So, if we were playing a more defensive character, I might take this. Someone, let's say, a phalanx type of character, spear, shield type of guy. We could use this to block a bunch of damage, for example. But spears and shield guys also don't take much damage anyway because of their shields. I tend not to look at something like Fend very often, since I'm more interested in decreasing the amount of enemies we're fighting than surviving their attacks. I guess this could be a nice ability to use as if you're zoning. You activate it, walk into the zone, take less damage from physical attacks. So it would block more physical damage. That would be... It's a 2-turn cooldown also. Useful if our... Uncanny Dodge is off a cooldown. But Spear Guard is not a 100% chance to block either. I think it's like a 50% chance to block. Maybe a 60%. So we had to hope this procs to help defend us. And it's still... I wish it didn't cost 6% of the action point cost for that either. I wish that was much cheaper. Maybe the specialization that this has makes that a cheaper action point cost. Otherwise, I'd rather just be slaughtering enemies using temporal contraction than trying to block their attacks. Unfortunately, this also is only melee attacks that this blocks, and we have Uncanny Dodge to dodge that. And our Spear Guard can help us protect us against a bunch of those little attacks from like burrow spawns or dagger users. So I think I'll pass on Fend. Cheap shots. Someone mentioned this one as well. Increases critical damage bonus of your melee attacks by 50% and gives your melee attacks a 15% chance to incapacitate the target for 1 turn. Cheap shots is amazing. It's one of the, I feel, better feats. Once again, it's a really nice feat to have with fast firing daggers, because you're swinging often. So there's a great chance, that 50% chance to incapacitate the target. Man, every time you swing, there's a chance to do that. In which case, you're surviving the next round, assuming you can incapacitate the target. Plays really nicely with Recklessness and Weaponsmith also, since you're going to have an increased chance to critical with those feats. I've been eyeing this for level 24, and I think we may end up taking this particular feat then, as opposed to a feat I had originally scheduled for that level. It's nice. It's a very, very nice feat. I think at this moment I'm weighing the increased critical chance higher than the damage and incapacitation chance. Fancy footwork. I think I had 2 or 3 people mention fancy footwork. When you land a melee attack, you gain up to 8 movement points, depending upon your armor penalty. So the more heavily armored you are, the less movement points you get, I believe. This cannot raise your movement points beyond twice your normal maximum. We are, unfortunately, not using daggers as our main weapon. So what this means is that we're going to get up to probably 16, maybe 24 extra movement points using fancy footwork. If we had a dagger, and we could get like 4 or 5 attacks off in a round, we could get back up to 40 movement points, be able to basically sprint away for with no worry whatsoever. I'm making it sound like we should probably drop the spears and just use daggers instead, but I would rather use a spear for this character for thematic reasons. I like pretending we're good with a quarterstaff in our hand, as opposed to using yet another dagger user to go through the game with them. I've gone through this game with like 2 or 3 different dagger users. I love daggers and all the feats for them. I think we'll pass on this, though, once again, because the amount of attacks we're going to earn, I don't think will really benefit from all the movement points we'll have otherwise gotten. We kind of want to, if we're going to run up and begin attacking people in melee, sprinting away, it tends to be something I'm not doing, right? You've seen that when we were in the room we were just fighting Baylor in. We run up, we use uncanny dodge, we try to stay there, and we rely on it to keep us alive, and then move away the next round while enemies are clustered around us, and then set them on fire if we can. I don't think we'll get the movement points I need to sprint away. To move away with fancy footwork with only 2 swings of the spear on average. So, I think we'll pass on fancy footwork. And I think that's basically it for feats recommended. There's several, I mean, I like all the feats, to be perfectly honest. There's some, like, we are taking, or I had planned to take psychotemporal acceleration. What this does is this increases the duration of the psychotemporal abilities by 1 more turn. So our dilation and our contraction, oh, it says it right down there, by the way, lasts for 1 more turn. Now that's interesting, because I thought we also had psychotemporal, no, limited cycle increment doesn't count. Okay, sorry about that. All right, anyway, we'll be taking this one in the future as well, because I do want contraction dilation lasting 1 more turn. Those, we will eventually have both of those in our head permanently. At the moment, since now we're done talking about this, I think I will grab weaponsmith after all for that 5% increased critical chance. And at level 24, I think we'll be grabbing cheap shots for the increased critical damage. And our spear is going to be incredible by the time we hit there, because we're going to have an energy spear. And it's going to be, oh my goodness, damage is going to be amazing. All right, let's take weaponsmith. And then for specialization, we'll grab another point in pyromaniac. All right, everyone, I'm back. Lunch has been also eaten. Let's go ahead and drop off the eye to the chief. Yes? About Baylor. Yes. I have his eye right here. He smiles briefly. Pure gold. I am more than glad to see you've managed to accomplish such a difficult task. Now that he is dead, we need only wait and see what happens with the Ironheads. I'm expecting a favorable outcome. For us. He hands you 1,000 Stygian coins. You've earned this. Well done. Can you tell me something about Foundry? I suppose I can. Foundry is a proud mining community that, thanks to a mine rich in different metals, predominantly iron, has a strong strategic position in lower Underrail. It might seem like I'm boasting, but the Foundry Guard is above any station force you'll see. We have trained and well-equipped men, ready to swiftly deal with any and all threats. Unfortunately, the only thing the Foundry Guard cannot combat is the foul air, but that is an issue we are working on mitigating. Alright, I'll see you later. 1/4 the level for that, too. Well done. Let's see if he has any other tasks for us. Tim, so far you've proven to me that you are a man I can trust, and because of that, I have a small job for you. The Foundry Guard patrolmen have spotted a group of faceless just west of Foundry. I would like you to go on a reconnaissance mission for us. We've been observing them for some time now, but their intentions are not yet clear to us. I just want you to try to find out what they're up to, nothing else. Your reward will be 100 charons if you can accomplish the job. Actually, I already talked to them. You talked to them? What did you find out? They are looking for some kind of item, something that means a lot to them, but it turned out this item wasn't in Foundry. After talking to them about it, they got into their tunneler and left. Interesting. You will need to stay alert, as it could be some kind of ruse, but the fact that they weren't hostile to you is not a bad indicator by all means. You did well. Here's your reward. Alright. See you later, Chief. And now, we should be able to finally get the mayor to allow us to help Foundry. What is it now? I heard you had problems with the mine creatures. Have I proven myself? Will you trust me to will you let me help you? Yes, Chief told me you are someone who can be trusted. As far as I understood, You were of great assistance in some important matters. Well and good. If you really are so keen on helping us, Tim, then why not give you a chance? You do have energy. Alright. As you know, unless you've been living in the most remote cave known, unknown to humanity, Foundry is the largest exporter of iron in Lower Underrail. What's even better is that our mine is rich not with just iron, but aluminum, titanium, and recently, chromium. We discovered large amounts of it several months ago, in the form of chromite ore. Needless to say, as soon as we discovered it, our minds began following the chromite veins. And so a few weeks ago, they mined it to a new cavern, and encountered the very creatures you mentioned. What they saw there was unlike anything we've ever seen or heard of before. These beings had shells made of rock with metallic blades protruding from their backs. Yes, you heard me right. Shells made of rock. The creatures were aggressive, and we had to bring in the Foundry Guard to deal with them. Now, those creatures, while resilient, were still no match for our brave troops. The true problem revealed itself when the guards encountered the beast. The beast? Yes. That thing may look like its smaller siblings, but it is in fact a four-legged boulder, a huge monster which stopped the Foundry Guard dead in its tracks. Meanwhile, it is unstoppable, and the guardsmen tried nearly everything. They shot it, burned it, threw grenades at it. Nothing. It's hard rock. Most of the men sent to clear the mine are now dead, and I have no other options but to order the closing of the mine. This problem will be hurting Foundry really fast if we don't find a way to deal with those things. We have days, a week at most, before we run out of ore supplies, after which all production will stop. What can I do to help? We need a solution to this problem, and we would appreciate it if you could help us find one. At one point, we considered using explosives to collapse the tunnel and seal them off, but our mining supervisor advised us against it. What's worse, even though things have been a bit quieter in the mines for a few days now, the rock creatures are emerging from the mines and attacking our citizens. Even though all our entrances to the mine are heavily guarded, some people have still gone missing. This is not proof that the creatures are behind it, just that something might be taking advantage of the chaos. Mind if I interrupt you for a second, sir? Not at all, Chief, not at all. I was almost done anyway. Go ahead. You see, young man, this is a problem which could, if left unsolved, mean the end of Foundry. The mine does not only feed the mouths of these people here, but also secures their protection. Do you think the Foundry Guard operates solely on goodwill? If you really want to help us, my suggestion is that you first speak with the only survivor from the unit that was tasked with clearing the mine. He knows more about the creatures than any one of us. His name is Saban Malov. You can find him at the mine entrance with the other guards. That's just to the east of Metalworks. Did you leave him a duty? I think he deserves some rest after all he's been through. I discussed that with him, but he was adamant about staying in service. He has to be posted right at the mine entrance. First line of defense. Brave man, no doubt. And a fine example to other guardsmen. Got it. What do I get for this, by the way? If you can help us deal with this problem, you'll be generously rewarded. There's just one more thing. You might also want to speak with Marcos Banti. He's our mining supervisor. You'll also find him at the mine entrance. He did advise us against collapsing that part of the mine with explosives, but talk to him again. Perhaps you could work out some solution to the problem. I believe we went through everything. I'm on the job. Well and good. Go down and report to us once you have something. Well, first, we're going to do more talking to Dan before I forget to do so, because we're going to want his help. So let's head over here and meet Dan. Goodness, it's been a while, sir. Oh. Should we pick his pocket? I don't think we do. I want him to have everything he has on himself for the upcoming battle. I will take those 13 coins off that person, though. Hey, Dan. Oh, hello. A friend just showed up. But good timing. Junkyard Surprise. We'll take those. I've never actually eaten Junkyard Surprise at all in this game. So let's go ahead and have it and see what happens to us. Agility increased by 1. Will decreased by 2. I hate it. I hate it. We're just gonna eat some some eel salmon to get rid of it. I think it always improves one stat by 1. It's random. I think another stat gets dropped by 2. But it used to improve your intelligence by 1, and I think they changed it so it cannot do that anymore. you see a man leaning on a rusty fence. Judging by his appearance, he seems to be one of the foundry guards, but unlike the others, his watchful eye seemed more concerned with evaluating passing women than with trying to catch signs of unlawful behavior. He straightens up upon seeing you approach him, coming up just taller than average, picks up his rifle, which was also placed against the fence, and offers a friendly, informal greeting. Hey, man, how's it going? Hey, you seem pretty laid back in comparison to the other guards. You got me there. It might surprise you, but being a guard in foundry is very, very boring. You gotta stand around all day, breathe this damn polluted air, and worst of all, you have to be nice to people. It sucks. I just want to shoot things. It's that simple. Without a perimeter patrols, at least get to fight something. But in here, absolutely nothing interesting happens. What about all those creatures that attacked the miners? Ah, yeah. I was so happy about the whole affair because I thought I finally might get to shoot some stuff, but you see? But no! There's this large beast that's impervious to bullets and other stuff. The mayor told our chief to order everyone not to engage the creatures any longer and retreat back. We have to think about it, discuss it, blah blah. I've already spoken to the mayor. I know everything about the beast already. No, actually, the first one. Yeah, I've heard a few things about that beast. Can you tell me more about it? You see, we're not allowed to talk about all this stuff publicly. But since I don't really care about the rules, and because I'm freaking bored as hell, here goes. You see, everybody's heard of the smaller creatures. The ones that look kind of like spiky rocks with 4 legs and an ugly snout. Well, those things got a bigger, badder brother that's so heavily armored it makes our guns feel like toys. The damn thing is completely impervious to bullets. Now everyone and their mother is wetting their pants, and the higher-ups are taking their sweet time discussing what to do next. Hoppers. Back in my day, my pals and me would take on anything. Men, beast, or both. We had the freaking guts. You know, don't think, just jump in the fight. But these guys in Foundry, hoppers. Hoppers, I tell ya. Who are these pals of yours? Yeah, well, back in the day I used to be part of some bandit gang from Core City. Hey, life was tough. I mean, it's got to make a living somehow. And if that includes relieving people of excess charons, then, well, anyway. We were all very young and fearless. We had the guts to fight anything and anyone. Unfortunately, many of us got killed because we had more guts than brains. But I missed that mentality. It was fun. They seemed to have done better than the others. Yeah, but if it wasn't for my best friend, I'd probably be decomposing in the same ditch by now. Him and I used to be so close, like, eyeballs. Bad comparisons, sorry. The point is, we were very close. We got into so much trouble together. Thankfully, we always pulled through. Who was this man? Gorski was his name. He was this big, strong bastard, tough as hell, no-nonsense kind of guy who punched you in the face and break every bone in it if you even looked at him the wrong way. Damn, it's been like 13 years or so since I last saw him. I heard somewhere that he later went to Southgate Station. I miss the bastard. This place is so damn boring. Gorski. Yeah, I know the guy from Southgate Station. He's definitely hard to miss. Well, be damned. This is incredible. How's the old pal holding up? From what you told me, I'd say he hasn't changed one bit. I'm so glad that man hasn't changed. He used to be a beast. You know what? When you see him again, tell him Dan Forte said hi. We'll recognize the name right away, unless his memory went to hell after all these years, but nah. Even if it did, he wouldn't forget his old pal. Can you tell me something about Foundry? Look, friend, you better ask someone else to be your tour guide. My job is too boring to further bore myself by answering boring questions. As you can probably see, I'm bored. Can you tell me an interesting story about you and Gorski? Oh, why not? It's not like I'm busy. Okay, listen up. This one's from more than 10 years ago. The good old days. As I already mentioned, Gorski and I used to be part of the same gang. Life was decent with those guys. We had the skills, we had the courage, and because of that, we had a bit of money in our pockets. So one day we were on the prowl in the vicinity of Core City, when we ran into a rival gang of patrol, the Black Crawlers. They used to be the biggest, baddest gang in Core City, and even that little patrol seemed like an army in comparison to the few of us. First shots were instantly fired, and the very first one ended up blowing our point man's brain to smithereens. Poor guy. All of us got behind cover, exchanged fire with them for a while, and soon, only Gorski and I remained breathing from our group. Bullets were flying all over the place. Grenades exploded around us. It was pure chaos. A dozen of those damn crawlers were still alive, and they were slowly approaching our position. They started to surround us, and to make things worse, we were running low on ammo. That's when Gorski got mad. Oh, you should have seen that angry face. He took his last grenade, threw it in the general direction, and then charged them. They still couldn't believe what they were witnessing. He had this maniacal grin that would scare a lurker into becoming a fungivore and started mowing down our enemies. Of course, I just couldn't let him have all the damn fun. I swarmed him too, and together we started annihilating everything that moved. I screamed from the top of my lungs while emptying my magazine to those poor fools. Just anyways, soon enough, Gorski was out of ammo, but that didn't stop him from killing people. He punched them, stabbed them, and yelled at them until he found one measly guy behind cover whose teeth he smashed with the butt of his now empty gun, then slit his throat with a knife. That guy ended up being the only son of the crawler's leader, and his death would later cause us a lot of trouble. That's a whole different story. All in all, soon after I fired my last shot, I heard the last crawler release his dying groan. After a moment, once we realized that was indeed all over, Gorski approached me, still breathing heavily, all covered in blood. Then he said, I remember it clearly, he said, "We need to bring more bloody bullets next time." Oh man, it was all so crazy. To this day, I have no idea how we survived against such slim odds. Just the two of us, at least. That's not a bad story. Oh, you had to be there, man. You had to be there to fully experience the carnage. Those were the days. Again, tell Gorski I said hi the next time you see him. Alright, Dan. Gotta move. See ya. Okay, so let's go back to the mine now. And we'll talk with Sabin and the mine supervisor. I've already picked the pockets of all the people that I came to pick the pockets for up here too. Mostly just for some of their charons, which is generally the only thing that they had, with the exception of health hypos and bullets, which they can keep. I don't need the money that badly quite yet, but I am going to need the money that badly. Very badly. Let's go this way. We need, I think, 5 sheets of super steel if I'm going to make nothing but super steel things. At the very least, I want 3. And that's going to be 9,000 bucks for those sheets of super steel. So it's gonna be an expensive build, this. Even though we're not super focused on melee, we're a hybrid character. I do like using super steel spears and or daggers. All right. Well, there's Macros and there's Sabin. The miner gestures for you to stop. This chubby, wide-shouldered man lets out a single long and highly abrasive-sounding cough, much akin to a train passing through a tunnel that is too narrow, grinding its way through before he's able to address you. Hey, you don't want to go into the mine. Entrance has been closed. Why is it closed? Some nasty creatures have shown up. Trust me, you don't want to go in there. Are you Marcos Banti? The mining supervisor. Yeah, that's me. Who are you? Tim. So what you need? What can you tell me about the mine creatures? Look, man. I shouldn't talk about that, you dig? He coughs. I don't want to be responsible for spreading any rumors, so my mouth is shut until the foundry guard deals with the whole situation. Dig what I mean? But your mayor sent me here to talk to you. Mayor? Oh, I see. The big boss wants you to convince me to use explosives in the mine to stop the Rockies. I know. We already talked about it. But my answer is still the same. No can do. It collapsed half of the damn mine and set us back by who knows how many months. I know this mine like the back of my palm. It's every nook and cranny, and I know that a detonation would hurt us more than them creatures. Using explosives should be the last option. Dig? Don't you already use explosives in mining? Well, yes, but that part of the mine where we found the Rockies is extremely unstable and not suited for explosives. We've got some huge cracks going across the ceiling in that area, so it doesn't take a genius to figure out what would happen. We haven't had the time to secure it, and won't, thanks to the stupid Rockies. I see. What can you tell me about the creatures themselves? Well, I personally never saw one of the things, but the guardsmen who did told me they've got a shell made completely out of rock. I also heard that there's a bigger rock creature that is the real reason why the foundry guard can't clear the mine. The small ones are not exactly friable, or not that tough, but the big daddy is, like, pretty much invulnerable. That's what I heard. Marcos then removes one of his gloves, pulling it off one finger at a time to reveal a huge rough-skinned hand with dirty chipped nails. He continues with a one-sided smile. Now, I bet no one mentioned them funny-looking worms to you, huh? He proceeds to imitate vernacular movement with his index finger, moving it a few centimeters to the left with each wave of motion, right? I saw them in the mine. What do you know about them? Ah, so you found them after all. Still, I think you'll find what I'm about to tell you quite useful. Listen. Several months ago, we found chromite deposits in the mine. So far, we mostly mined iron, titanium, and stuff like that, but no chromium. So we started digging in that direction. Along the way, we found strange patches of chromite, ore you get chromium from, that had them worms in it. You know, miners would drill the ore, worms with drills for heads would come out of it. Never seen anything like it before. Weird stuff, I'm telling you. The worms would just get out of there and be on their way, never bothering us or anything. Now, after the Rockies attacked us, some guardsmen who went deeper into the mine told us the worms are all over the caves. I think it's all connected somehow. Maybe the Rockies feed on the worms, maybe something else. I don't know. Thought I should tell you that. He puts the gloves back on. That's all I got for you. Tell Marshall we are not using explosives. Dig? Is there anyone here in Foundry that can inspect the worms from the mine? A biologist of some kind. Expert in his field, preferably? An expert. Nope. A biologist? Like zoologists or similar? I doubt it. There ain't much work for biologists in here, being this is, well, Foundry. Someone could stop by at the bar, visit a relative, but other than that, nope. In the end, I think you're going to have to seek help from someone outside Foundry. And I think my best option is to make a trip back to Southgate Station and see Quentin. There you go. Damn friable throat. So anyway, anything else you want to ask me? Nope. See you later, Marcos. Yeah. At first, the tall guard responds to your approach with silence. The uniform nature of all Foundry guardsmen makes it difficult for you to discern any distinct features, but in this case, one jumps into view like a mine shroom in the dark. His damaged shield bears wounds of a relentless attack that can only be attributed to a wild, savage creature. Large scratches, dents, and dried blood streak the shield as if it was a canvas left at the mercy of a deranged painter, and the shield's outer rim has numerous bite marks on it that seem to have been caused by the malicious motion of a powerful jaws. Your inspection comes to a halt when the guard utters a simple word. Yes? Oh, can you tell me anything about the mine creatures? First, it's very unsafe to be in this area, and you should leave. Second, I can't speak about it. It's classified. It's alright, Chief Banner sent me here to talk with you about the current situation. I see. Well, in that case, my name is Sabin, but most everyone here calls me... I can't pronounce that. Sapke? Sapke it is. I'm Tim. Pleased to meet you, Tim. Now listen up. After our miners first encountered the Bladelings, a group of us was sent inside the mine to deal with the creatures. While the reports implied they were unusual in appearance, only when we encountered them did we realize how strange the creatures actually were. Sure, they had 4 legs, 2 eyes, a mouth, the usual, but their shells were made of hardened rock, fused with their bodies, with metallic blades protruding from their backs. It was an unreal sight. Can you tell me about your encounter with the beast? Yes, the beast. That bloody creature was responsible for the deaths of 9 guardsmen, 9 of my dear friends. It looks similar to Bladelings in general appearance, but it is much bigger, with longer black back blades and a much thicker shell. In fact, its shell was so thick nothing we used could penetrate it. Fire, bullets, high explosives. The beast shrugged it off like we were throwing marbles at it. It, on the other hand, had no trouble doing damage to us. By pure luck, I was the only one who managed to escape with my head still sitting on my shoulders. This shield here serves as a reminder. Do you think it's the only one, or could there be more? So far, we've only seen one, luckily. It was in one of the dormant caves deeper past the mine. It appeared to be very old, with, as I've said, much thicker shell than the smaller ones. Also, it was riddled with scars. It was tough, like a boulder rolling towards you. If there are more like that, well, we're in a lot of muck. Whatever the case may be, I will hunt down that creature and end its existence. I feel it. Do you know anything about the worms in the mine? I remember those things. They had strange heads shaped like drills, but they weren't aggressive, so we usually paid no attention to them. We had bigger problems to deal with. Some of the guys did shoot them or step on a few that hadn't had the time to find a hiding place. In any case, they were no threat to us at the time. Alright, that's all I needed to know. Thank you. We will, of course, get rid of all the fog of war, since we're right here. Oh, am I allowed in there? I'm not allowed in there. I believe there is this little quest here involving Olivia, who's over here by the chemical set, and her husband. You can side with one of them and kill the other. We're not going to take that quest. It just seems it's not something I tend to do with most of my characters. I think if I ever do play this game again on the channel, which I'm not intending to, viewer, by the way, 4 times is enough to play a game that takes 80 hours or so to beat. I would probably play through with an evil character, and I do everything I'm not supposed to do, like detonate explosives in Foundry, for example, just to see what ends up happening at the end of it all. Still to make up my mind, when it comes to the Black Sea DLC, am I going to join? We are going to join. We are absolutely 100% going to. I'm sorry, we're not joining with the pirates. One of the reasons I took Pickpocket was so that I could get the radio. So this way I could get the Aegis Patrolman jet ski. It's just too good. Well, I suppose you could get one anyway with a hot wiring kit. Just take it off the island and not join them. But we're playing a good guy here, so I think we'll stick with the standard things I've been doing here. All right, let's go back to Southgate Station. And see if they can shine a light on what's happening here at Foundry. Oh, off screen, before this episode began, I was here at Southgate Station and bought a 17 temporal manipulation headband for us, which is why its effective skill is 117, 1 point higher than it is for metathermics at this moment. Also sold some stuff. We are up to 10,800 Charons and 2,400 Southgate Station credits. All right, Quentin, can you help us with this? I forgot something? I wanted to ask you about some odd creatures that are plaguing Foundry at the moment. Thought you might know something. Foundry? Sure. Can you describe the creatures to me? There are these highly aggressive quadruple creatures, most easily recognized by shells made of rock with metallic blades protruding from their backs. Ever seen anything like that? Never. But it sounds really intriguing. I'd remember it, that's for sure. If you could bring me some part of the creature or a live specimen, I'd be more than happy to share anything I learned with you. I have a piece of the rock creature. Let me see. Quentin inspects the piece you gave him. Fascinating. As if you detached this from a piece of machinery and not a living, breathing creature. This is from its back, right? Is that what you said? Yes, their backs are covered with these blades. Well, this is what I can tell you about the creature by looking at this. Considering what you've told me, the blades grow out of its back, I can guess that it serves as a defensive purpose. I see no cavities or canals for nerves or blood vessels to go through, or to accommodate any kind of organic matter. To illustrate what I mean, I'll take our very own bones as an example. We grow our bones through a process called ossification. Do you know what that is? No. Your bones contain cells containing osteoblasts, which secrete the minerals necessary to form bone. The process by which they do this is called ossification. Now, bone tissue is usually composed of a mineral matrix which contains these cells, and bones themselves are composed of approximately 70% mineral content. This blade here, this is one solid piece of metal. No organic matter whatsoever, no porosity, and no traces that this grew out of a living being. How's it grow then? I don't know. Tooth enamel, for instance, is almost completely made of a word Stygian software put in this I can't pronounce. A kind of calcium phosphate, with the rest being water and a hint of organic matter. Enamel is formed within the gums before the tooth grows out, so there is a possibility that this blade is formed within the shell and grows out later. But how? I don't know. Right now I can only make speculations. Here, take this blade back. If you want to test its composition, better have it done by someone, well, who's not a biologist, that's for sure. The smile lifts his mask slightly up. You can bring me any other part of the creature, or a live specimen, and we'll have ourselves a winner. This, however, I'm sorry. This is all fascinating in any case. I understand. About the mine creatures, there are these worm-like things with weird heads shaped like small drills. Drills? I've seen a fair share of odd beings, but one with a drill for a head? Never in my lifetime. Could you catch one, if that's possible? I'd love to take a look at the creature. And you too need some answers, or else you wouldn't be talking to me in the first place. I actually have one of those creatures. Quinn inspects the creature as it squirms inside the crate. As soon as it spots him, the creature begins thrashing about, occasionally stopping to aim its head at him and screech in an act of desperate intimidation. Now this is what I'm talking about! I'd like to take a look at it. Anything I should know before opening the crate? How dangerous is it? I got nothing to worry about. I handle it with my bare hands. He carefully grabs the creature, holding it firmly as it wriggles in his hands. He takes a good look at it, charmed by its oddity and its alien form before he turns to you. Please wait while I examine it. This won't take long. The creature suddenly makes a few powerful motions, wailing its unheld ends and shakes Quentin's upper body, prompting him to even spread his legs a bit in order to maintain proper balance. He is able to control it, however. Oh, this one's a fighter! You wait while Quentin completes his examination, observing him as he performs it with great focus and care. How after only a few minutes he makes it seem as if he had been handling these creatures for years. Slowly and steadily he finishes the examination. He places the creature back into its mobile jail, turns to you, but only to inform you that he needs to leave and do one more test. The two are gone for a while. Soon he returns to you with a genuine smile on his face. Overflowing with excitement, he wastes no time. I'm back, Tim. Hope you didn't fall asleep waiting for me. I did. And I was dreaming I was waiting for you. Go figure. What do you got for me? First, without dissecting the creature, which I would never do without consulting you, I can tell you a couple of things I've learned so far. Their heads do appear to be used for actual drilling, even though I haven't been able to see it in action yet, obviously. The combination of the unique shape of the head and the surprisingly powerful musculature makes me feel that it engages its whole body during the process. Maybe it, say, rotates itself in short bursts, or maybe it coils up and releases the energy in that manner. I'm just speculating. What is a fact, though, is that the head is very, very tough, so I have no doubt that it can bore through hard material without much of an issue. As for the rest of the creature's body, it is segmented and has a decently thick skin covered in what appears to be very soft, delicate scales, or at least something similar to it. As in snakes, it probably helps them move, possibly to retain moisture, too. The skin is also highly sensitive, which makes sense for a creature limited in ways it can acquire information about its environment. There are a few other details about it, but those are quite minor and uninteresting. Now, what I did was a quick superficial examination. I'd need to dissect the creature to really tell you more about its anatomy. However, I saved the good stuff for last. I decided to do some psi readings. That's why I left the room earlier, and the readings were off the charts. In fact, the creature exhibits a psi signature so strong that I'm surprised it does not have some defensive psi abilities at its disposal. However, the signature is also incredibly complex, and I'm not ashamed of telling you, even I am having problems interpreting it. He shrugs. I'm afraid that analyzing it is well above my skill level, but I'm absolutely 100% positive that understanding this psi signature will not only help you on your, for lack of a better word, quest, but also pave the way to engrossing scientific discoveries, for those of us who care, if nothing else. So there. That is all I have for you. That's all very interesting. Regarding the psi signature, do you know anyone I can take this larva to? Well, as far as psi in general is concerned, Ezra is the top expert in Southgate Station, so he's the right person to bring this critter to. If he can't help you, then you're stuck. Yeah, well, he hands you back the crate. Here, captivating little thing. Captivating little thing this is, and feisty. I'll bring it to him then. Thanks, Quentin. Before we do that, let's talk with him again. Okay, I'm content. You know, I've never tried bringing the piece of the bladelings to other people in Southgate Station. So I'm going to stop by Big Brett really quick and just see if he has anything to say. Big Brett. Nope, he does not. Just want to get rid of the foundry markers up there. I'm guessing that there won't be anything in the cyber labs, but we'll check really quick with Harold. No, he does not either. Okay. Darn it. I was hoping we might learn a little bit more lore about the Bladelings. Tim? Ezra, could you look at this for me? Ezra looks at the restless creature, now at the apex of its aggravation. He focuses on it in silence, and as moments pass, the creature becomes more and more calm. Slowly but surely, it reaches a point of complete tranquility and motionlessness, on account of which one could easily mistake it for being dead. Ezra? He turns to you. Where did you find this creature? In a mine and foundry. Interesting. Are there any other creatures living among or in close proximity to these? Yeah. Creatures with shells made of rock that have metallic blades on their backs. Those are the only ones as far as I know. I see. Another adaptation. Makes sense. And you, why are you so interested in this subject? Foundry is having difficulties with these creatures, as they are infesting their mine. But the real problem is the Beast. A creature identical to what I described, but larger, tougher, and much meaner. As yet, there doesn't seem to be an apparent way to kill it. The creature, because of its heavy armor, is practically invulnerable, and nearly all who face it lost their lives. So you want to find a way to kill it. Very well. I understand everything now. I'll tell you what you need to know. The creature you brought me is actually the larval form of the rock creature you described. As strange as that may seem, yes, these are their larvae. I've encountered them in the past, in different forms though. Regardless, I can help you find this adaptation's weakness. But for that, you will have to bring some part of the creature to analyze. Try to bring me a piece of its shell or backblades if you can. If not, then bring whatever you're able to acquire. I have a piece of one right here. Let me see it. I will be right back. He takes a sample from you and leaves the room. He returns shortly, just as I suspected. Yes, I've managed to analyze the composition of this impure chromium blade, and I emphasize this because over 90% of it is indeed chromium. But that you knew already. However, what you didn't know is that the other 10%, that which differentiates vermin from a walking apocalypse. Foundry is very unfortunate in having their surrounding rock made up of some of the hardest minerals in nature, for it is these materials which together form the living armor of these creatures. And I'm not just talking about their shell, no. It is their whole bodies which are composed of these metals and minerals, albeit in varying quantities depending upon the section, of course. Chromium is in itself a resistant metal, but its strength lies in its high heat resistance. The rest of the materials serve to counteract mechanical forces acting upon the organism. It appears that in small creatures, this robustness can be overcome by conventional means, if barely. In the Beast, I'd suggest you return to Foundry and tell them to collapse the cave where it lives and abandon them altogether. But that isn't an option, or else you wouldn't be here. Luckily, there is a way. By my calculations, I've taken all the approximate oh my goodness! I've taken all the approximate elements found inside the sample into consideration. The temperature necessary to melt these creatures' shell should be at least 2,500 degrees centigrade. Ironically, considering chromium is practically the essence of these creatures, this seems to be the most realistic way to defeat it, as Foundry is likely to have some means, be it a furnace or something else, which can melt chromium, hence producing temperatures this high. You mentioned something about adaptation. What do you mean precisely? You see, the larva uses its psi energy to cocoon itself inside living or non-living entities and tailor its genetic makeup to support the organism's further development in accordance with what it's merging with. Inside, the larva develops into its adult form, and the resulting creature is fully integrated with the entity of choice. So if the creature wants a rock shell, it will dig itself into a rock and fuse with it. Do you know what these creatures are called? Psi-enhanced polymorphic organisms, or psimorphs for short. Could maybe we use plasma weapons? How come these are ineffective against the beast when plasma can reach insane temperatures? When all molecules are ionized, yes, plasma can reach, theoretically, temperatures in the range of billions of degrees. However, most conventional plasma weapons we have today use plasma where only a fraction of gas molecules are ionized. There are three primary reasons for this. First, one is the technological limitation. The second is power consumption. And the third is the fact that the shooter does not want to be evaporated together with everything else around him when firing his weapon. So it seems I'm going to need a way to lure the beast into Foundry and kill it there. How do you know so much about these creatures, by the way, Ezra? Knowledge like this does not arrive with merely encountering something. I've learned quite a few things throughout the years. There are bits and pieces of knowledge and history everywhere you look, and over time, things simply accumulate. Does Biocorp have anything to do with it? I may have come across some other research. It is hard to remember. Anything you can do to help me luring the beast into Foundry? And what will you do once it's in Foundry? Do you have a plan? Foundry has this old, large smelting furnace near the mine entrance. I could use that to pour molten metal onto the beast and kill it. That seems plausible. I happen to know from previous research that these creatures communicate. With the larval form you've brought me, I think I will be able to create a device which you will be able to use to summon the creature. At least it should. It should? This is an improvised device that I'm making out of components I have at hand. Things can go awry. Maybe it'll summon the creature you want. Maybe it'll summon something else. You won't know until you press the button. Making the device shouldn't take long, though. I believe I already have all the necessary components right here. Wait some more, would you? He returns with the gift he promised. Here it is. Try your best not to disturb the larva within the device too much. You need it to be alive for the device to function properly. Alright, Ezra. Let's trade really quick. Nope, still no detection goggles. Unbelievable. Alright, take care, Ezra. Okay, so... let's go ahead and head back to Foundry. We can let the mayor know that we have a way to actually defeat the beast. And I'm sure he'll give us his blessing in order to prevent the mine from shutting down. As Tim looks around and looks at his equipment. This is going to be a really interesting battle. In normal mode, to my recollection, you get 3 waves of bladelings. It might be 4, but I think there's only 3. And you get 3, 4, and I think 5 of them in those waves. On hard mode, I think you get 5 waves or 6 waves of bladelings, with increasing numbers of them, I believe, every wave. I was surprised at how difficult hard mode was compared to normal mode. And I've seen people do dominating, which is just insane. There is an insane number of bladelings on hard mode. I think there's the same number of waves as hard mode, on dominating mode. I think there's the same number of waves as there was in on hard. I think there's 6 or 5. But there's like twice as many bladelings in each of them. My goodness, you need an incredible defensive line in the form of traps to help you deal with them, which is what we're going to do here as well, in a way. What is it now? About the mine creatures, Mayor. Ah, yes. Got any useful information? I've learned more about the beast and how to defeat it. Oh? I'm all ears. The creature is highly resistant to both mechanical forces as well as high temperatures. From what I've learned, our best way to defeat it is to use extreme heat. Temperature of over 2,500 degrees centigrade should be enough to melt its shell and kill the creature. Heat? Oh, I know what you're trying to say. You want to lure the creature inside the metalworks and try to kill it with molten metal. Is that correct? I was thinking perhaps of using that large smelting furnace near the mine to kill the beast. I even have a way to lure it there. That piece of junk. Please, that thing's been causing us more harm than good lately. It's been drawing power like a trainload of coil spiders. It even caused a blackout in half a foundry. Just recently it completely broke down, and we won't bother fixing it for now, if ever. Forget about that piece of junk, and do not listen to Bernard. Don't. Lowering the beast into Foundry would be a high-risk operation. The creature could go on a rampage if let into Foundry, not to mention that the smaller creatures will most likely follow it. Yes, that was what I was going to say. And, even if we can somehow lure it in, none of the working furnaces can produce temperatures of that magnitude, besides the smaller ones we use for melting chromium, but those are simply too small. Look, we are really thankful for your help, really, but the plan you're proposing is just too risky. We need another way. Alright, take care then. Chief? Nothing to do for him. Well, since they won't assist us, at least we don't have their blessing, and we can't kill the beast with any other thing that we possess. The only way to do it, to my knowledge, is to indeed lure it into Foundry. Let's go talk with Bernard. It's a big, huge, open area there, kind of, without any hostiles, and enough space that we can fight if necessary. So let's see if he has a clue, or if we can receive his blessing. Maybe we can still attempt this anyway, especially if the entire battle takes place near Gloria, which it will. All right, Bernard, we are back. What you need? May I ask how high this furnace can go temperature-wise? Oh, Gloria's very hot. I think she can go up to 3,000, even 3,500 degrees centigrade. Yeah, that's a lot, trust me. She can melt anything. I even told the mayor the same thing, but he doesn't believe me. He told me to shut my tick hole because he thinks I'm making it up to convince him to fix her. Damn him! I spoke to the mayor recently about related things, and all I can say is I share your sentiment. Damn him! How about I help you repair your furnace? You mean Gloria? Oh, that'd be awesome. But hold on. Why'd you want to do that? Why is it important to you? I needed to kill the large beast from the mine. It's gonna be quite a challenge, but look, if you can help me fix my Gloria, she'll show you what she's capable of. Now, I'll explain what Gloria suffers from, at least what I think the problem is. You see, there's something wrong with the electrode power regulation system that's been controlled through this console. Before Gloria broke down, she started drawing so much power from the system it caused a blackout in nearly half of Foundry. I don't think it's the problem with the console, but the unit itself. But nothing I try seems to work. Muck. And you haven't found someone to help you. The mayor gave an order not to bother repairing Gloria, so no one wants to help me. On top of that, they call me derailed for trying to fix her. Fools! Alright. So, we don't have any electronics, so there is no way we are going to be fixing Gloria. But we can maybe convince West to do so. So let's head over to him. Lots of walking around. Guess we can talk a little bit about some random stuff while we're out here, while we are indeed walking around for a little bit. So, I find it funny that I still have grenades equipped on my belt. I've mentioned several times how I would like to not be using grenades on a character who doesn't have any throwing for them. And I'll be darned if they haven't proven to be extraordinarily useful for us in most of the encounters we're having. That will include the Bladelings we're about to do, because they will do some damage against the Bladelings. We'll probably be going through half of the grenades or what's left of them. Once we have a little more electronics, or some electronics, we will be dropping grenades for electronic devices on our belt instead. My plan is to use the lantern, a taser, and a stealth cloaking device. There we go, cloaking device. Oops, went the wrong way. So let's talk with West first, then we'll talk with Dan, and we'll let him know what we are planning on doing. Then we can go and talk with Sabin and get his assistance. And then I think we'll prep. And I guess we'll do the battle here, too. Welcome back, friend. Hey, I need help fixing an electric arc furnace. If it's an electrical problem, then yes, I can help you. Where do you need me exactly? It's a large furnace near the mine entrance. One a man named Bernard seems to be very fond of. Oh. Oh? Well, he's not exactly the sanest man around here. But as long as I'm being paid, I don't have a problem with it. And I've already worked with that same furnace. Unless it's something very drastic, I can handle it. Bernard mentioned he thinks the problem lies with the electrode power regulation system. That's not going to be a simple fix. But if that is the issue, then yes, I can take care of it. Money's not the issue as long as you get the job done. That's good to hear. I'm asking for 500 charons. I don't think anyone sane would do it for less. It's a deal. Here you go. Good. I'll be heading there as soon as I finish the soldering with this thing. So Bernard doesn't talk my friable ears off. Right. Catch you later. Okay. Gotta spend money to make... spend more money, viewer. I think we earned another 1,000 charons, just about, for defeating the beast. At the end, so we do make a profit, but if we want to... to my knowledge, you have to defeat the beast if you want to unlock higher quality metal plates and be able to create super steel, both of which we want on Tim here. Listen, man, remember when you asked me to tell you something about Foundry? Well, I actually remember something interesting. If you need some military-grade weapons, go to find a guy called Kevin. He's one of the guard overseers who earns his bonus by illegally selling guns. Oops! It's not a secret anymore. Well, damn. Better go and bug him about it. You'll find him close to the bar, at the south entrance. Stupid jerk. Tell me I can't shoot barrels in the residential area. Oh, okay, we can't convince Dan quite yet. Alright, so then... Oh, we have a lot of walking back and forth. Alright, let's go back to the mine. Talk with Bernard again, who will let us know if Gloria is actually operational. And if she is, we can then begin prepping for the encounter. I probably also... Oh, please tell me. I think I'm recording this. I think I'm currently recording. I also should check the episode, because it feels like we're playing for an hour already. Lots of talking. The beast battle itself is going to take about an hour. So, or like, I think probably close to 38 minutes or so. So we shouldn't do it in this episode, if it's going to take that long, and I'm pretty sure it is. The good news is it will give me a chance to prep the area in between episodes. And yes, we have to walk everywhere without increasing the speed. This is how I do things here. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I just like it. I like the movement speed for my character. Seems to be correct. Like, it feels right. So I don't ever increase the movement speed. Wes came and fixed Gloria. My beauty's working again. I want to thank you so much, Tim. You rock. My Gloria's back. Is the furnace ready to be used? You can't wait to see Gloria in action? I want to see her too, to tell you the truth. But the thing is, you need to load her with some ore and start the melting process. We went through most of our supplies after the mine was closed, so chances are you're going to have to go into the mine. Any ore rich in metal should do the trick. You can use the cart system to help carry all that around. Alright, I know what to do. Go for it. Now we already got, I think, 30 or so pieces of chromite ore, which I think is all we need. So let's call the cart back. Double check it, make sure we don't have any things left in it that aren't chromium ore. And then we'll start the melting process. $31. And to my knowledge, we don't have any... Yep. We don't have any extra on us. Alright. Unload the... turn the conveyor belt on. Unload the cart. Cargo scanning successful. No invalid objects detected. Let me wait just a little bit. I think I can put the device down. Let's see. And, okay, it's been placed, but hasn't been turned on yet. Okay, initiate the melting process. Melting in progress. We'll check with Bernard and make sure everything's looking good. That should be enough. She's now loaded and ready. When you're ready to pour the molten metal onto the beast, just pull the lever to the right and watch it burn. I just have one more question for you. How are you going to get the beast to come here? I don't think you simply go and ask it. I have a device that will attract the beast to the furnace. Good, so I see you got everything worked out. Well, Gloria's ready, but since I'm pretty darn sure there's going to be some heavy fighting with the beast comes, I'm just going to stay at a safe distance. I ain't much of a fighting man anyway. I do more harm than good. After all, I'm sure the Foundry Guard's going to be here to help you. You're not doing this on your own for sure. Anyway, good luck and, don't die. No, we're doing it by ourselves. You know, I've never tried going back to the Chief and telling him we're just going to do it. I don't think they'd let me do so. Well, in any case, let's go tell Sabin what we're up to. We will want all the help we can get for this. Yes? Would you like to help me kill the beast? The question is completely redundant. Yes, I'll help you kill the beast. I'm guessing someone came up with a decent plan to kill it, right? We're going to use the large smelting furnace to kill it. Liquidation. That's an even worse death than I had imagined. Great. I'll join the rest of the Foundry Guard at the furnace as soon as possible. There's no one else but the two of us. Yeah. What? I don't... Are you telling me you planned all this pretty much on your own? Hell yeah. You're derailed. In that case, I must be even more derailed for saying this, but I'll be there. I'll be there as soon as possible, Tim. Alright. Got some help. He, I think, throws grenades and has a 44 Magnum, which is strong enough... I can still use Magnum, so I should be using pistol. .44 caliber pistol, which is does decent damage, enough to actually really cripple some of these creatures. Now we want to talk with Dan, so we can have him help us too. I don't think anyone else here can assist. Oh, it was 30 impure chromium blades that we needed. How about that? One extra. Is what we had inside the cart. And we gained half a level from just running around and doing this quest so far. My goodness. Fantastic. How's it going? Would you like to help me kill the beast, Dan? Despite the fact that his face is covered by a metal helmet, you are sure that both his eyes are intensely focused on you as if they were a pair of spotlights. Do you really think I'd leave my boring post just to kill a giant monster and save Foundry from its terror? Hell yeah! Damned if I miss a chance to have some fun in this boring place. I reckon you got some cunning plan, right? We're going to use the large smelting furnace to turn the beast into liquid. It's so damn beautiful. I'm gonna start crying now. Manly tears, of course. Real men cry mercury. And, well, I haven't seen Gloria in a while. That Iron Lady can sometimes turn quite hot. When she's working. That's what I mean. Oh, Bernard, you crazy idiot. Anyway, I'll be there as soon as possible, friend. I gotta do a couple of things first. Alright. I believe... So Dan has a decent assault rifle and brings a plasma sentry with him for the fight. And now we are finally set. Or as set as I think I'm going to be. Oh. Yes. Yes, we are. Alright, so... The tricky part's going to be prepping the area. There are a lot of them. It's going to be a lot of them. I think I recorded one of my characters actually fighting them over the summer of last year in my one-off playlist. And it was tough. It was very tough. So Dan, yep, there's Dan and his plasma sentry. There's Sapke. Now, we can't put down traps. We don't have any trap skill. Oh, we have 18 trap skill, which actually I think is enough. Especially while I sold the trap belt. But it would be enough to actually place, I think, normal bear traps around. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I brought a plethora of burr poison caltrops and some cave caltrops. And we're going to litter the floor with these things. But viewer, I'll do that off screen. When we come back, I think we will be ready to go, because I think we've been playing for an hour here. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one, where we will begin... Oh, this process. I actually need to activate the psi amplifier. Oh, this is going to be tricky. So I guess no grenades to start then, Tim. Alright, well anyway, I'm babbling. Thank you guys again for watching, and maybe I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.